there's a lot of lads who need the minutes as well, who are genuine first team footballers, the Chiesas of this world. Even Darwin would like to start again.
I think Darwin will start.
Do you?
Yeah.
So
that's why he's taken
will
off,
he not start Jota?
No, I don't think Jota will start. I think they're going to manage Jota. I think they're managing Jota's minutes in quite an interesting way, and I think he may well be another 60 Darwin, 30 Jota in this one. I think he'll start Ungamoa. And I think he'll start Chiesa.
So you're not starting. So that's Diaz. You're leaving out for 2 games.
I think Diaz travels and is on the bench and becomes part of it. But I think they've seen a little opportunity to give Diaz just sort of
recharge.
Yeah, just sort of give it a little bit of a recharge. Same with McAllister. I think you look at both of them. That feels a little bit to me like, no, we can take a little bit of a little mini chance in one sense, but in another sense, give Jones the opportunity. And I think, I could be wrong on Jota. I just sort of even thought when he came on last night, he just didn't quite look quite as sharp as you sort of used to see.
Yeah, he gets an opportunity to break away straight away, doesn't he? And ends up losing it.
And he didn't quite have it. And I wonder whether or not the plan with him is to get the best possible Jota for the other side of the international break. Like, what would help see this team home would be the brilliance of an absolutely 100% Diogo Jota in April and May.
But he has been... He's arguably been doing that with Gomez a bit. And I think them leaving Gomez out is more he's not been in the last couple of squads, is more that he needs managing. I don't want to drop him in too soon. But he's got Jota back in very, very quickly. I do think he will start Jota. He might pull him at half time or on the hour, but my gut feeling is he will start.
I just think.
He can start Jota and Diaz if he Jota and Nunes if he wants to.
I think there's an interesting question arose around Nunes, which I don't know if anyone's talked about yet. Is Nunes' selection ahead of Diaz last night was a surprise. We all thought Liverpool would go full on first 11 last night because there was no reason not to. For rhythm, there's a clear, as good as week till Everton. Go keep the first team in rhythm. Now, okay, I can see McAllister maybe dropped out because you want to manage his minutes, played a lot of football. Nunes for Diaz, I might be wrong, might it be a hint that he fancies having a little look at changing his front three for a bit and maybe serving a dual purpose, refreshing Diaz, but also seeing what Nunes can contribute. And I'm not ruling out that Nunes may get the nod in the derby ahead of Diaz. I don't know. I think Diaz could be on the bench and get significant minutes against Plymouth, whereas I think the likes of Salah, maybe Gakpo won't get near the squad.
No. I think we can all rule out Salah and Gakpo to start, can't we?
Yeah. Gravenberch, you can rule out. Van Dijk, I think.
All right, well, let's go to the midfield then. We're picking the team in the round table like in the 50s, and we're going to hand it over to the manager. So let's do the midfield then. So if we are ruling out Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, so are we picking Elliott? Are we picking Harvey?
Yep.
He's got to get a game somewhere, hasn't he?
Are we going to pick McAllister, or are we just going to let him off this week off?
He's on the bench for me.
Yeah, on the bench. So then we'll pay McConnell.
No, what about
Endo?
Endo, Elliott and Jones for me all day long.
So you go Jones again?
Yeah, and I might put McConnell on.
Could be why took him off on 70 last night.
Unless you want to look at McConnell in a specific way. But Championship isn't League One.
He might play. Rating
he could play Endo as centre-half. And play Endo and Quansah.
This isn't Accrington at home. I think, with all due respect to Accrington, Plymouth, disrespect to Accrington actually, Plymouth are still a Championship side and they're on their own pitch. I think we want to win the game.
Are they worse than PSV Eindhoven?
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
So he starts McConnell at PSV Eindhoven.
But he doesn't give a flying fuck if he gets beaten 4-0.
I don't know how much of a flying fuck he actually gives on this, but also I think obviously he'll never want to lose, but the point is I think it's perfectly legitimate to go Endo, McConnell, Elliott and take Jones and possibly take McAllister.
He's legit,
and have them on the bench and sort of say, well, if we need to do X or Y and move people around, well, we can do that. That's a move for us. But I'd be going Endo, McConnell. I would go Endo, McConnell, Elliott in the middle of the park.
I think I might too, because I think we all want to see McConnell again. I think the manager will be excited to see him again.
I just think if you've gone to all this fuss of not sending him out on loan, if he doesn't start this, what does he start? The fifth round's not going to get easier.
You've talked me around.
You've
talked me around. I agree.
Yeah.
I think the only thing for me is if Endo drops to centre half and because he'll
Gomez needs a game,
Jones
right?
At the 6.
You see Gomez, he might be tempted to play Gomez at right back.
I know,
because so he's done a press conference and he said Morton's out, so we can't play him. He's out for 4 weeks with a shoulder thing, and he said that he basically Trent's out for the weekend that he's touch and go for the Everton game, and he's like pointed out, well, it's only 3 days later, so if he can't play this one, then it's a lot to sort of get ready. I wonder whether they might think if I need Bradley 3 times in a week, that's quite a bit for him. So he might do Gomez at right back.
I think you might do 45 for Bradley, Quansah and Gomez at centre half, and if the game's full stop, make the decision. But I'd say also if the game's going well, maybe do Naomi for Bradley. Endo to centre back and Gomez to right back, and that way around you're giving Trey 45, so you're not putting too much on him. Yeah, you're using Endo in a clever way. Gomez therefore gets his 90 under his belt and goes from there. As previously discussed, I wouldn't start Jota, but you do Jota for Nunez between 45 and 60, and then you might use Diaz for
what about McConnell and Curtis Jones sitting as double pivot with Elliott roaming free ahead? That liberates you then to have Endo at centre back, say with Quansah, which liberates you in turn to have Gomez as your right back, and that solves your Conor Bradley problem.
I think it's not solving a problem. I think he might just want Bradley to play another game of football before the derby because he's not played that much football. I think it's back to your double-edged sword. You want the players, Bradley needs a little bit of rhythm. He's come on for 20 against, but you're saying it's not 3 games. He's come on for 20 against Bournemouth. He didn't play the whole game against Bournemouth. He's done 20 against Bournemouth. He's played this midweek one against Tottenham. Maybe they'll just sort of look at it. I'd go with the flexibility of saying to Bradley, all right, we're just going to keep you ticking, make sure you're right, you're in good shape. It's not the same as, players like Salah, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. They're banging rhythm, and the idea of playing Thursday, playing Wednesday is absolutely fine. I just sort of wonder with Bradley, do you want to just give him another 45 minutes to keep him pairing and keep it moving, and if he is going to be needed for the derby? But again, I could be wrong, and probably am. But I think, then that gives you a bit of time to settle the game down, and it also means I think there's something in you want to give Gomez 45 in his proper position.
Yes.
I don't think and also the manager's sort of not wanted to be that much. I mean, Endo he's utility man in his head off with, but the rest of them have, it's interesting who has to move and who doesn't. And I've sort of got the impression with Gomez, he's wanted him to be quite settled as a centre back.
So who doesn't even make the trip then, working from back to front? The 2 centre halves.
Also, there's an argument to start Jaros. Without being daft about it, I think you can argue that maybe you throw Jaros in because Keller has just got that game as well. But yeah, I think Konate and Van Dijk you don't take, Gravenberch you don't take, Szoboszlai you don't take. Yeah, you probably put Robertson on the bench.
Yeah, I think so.
And Salah you don't take, and Gakpo you don't take, and I think everyone else you take.
Yeah.
So you end up with a bit of a half and half bench.